Dart Talk carries the Internet Broadcast Rating TVD, a broadcast that is specifically designed to be viewed or heard by the darting community, and therefore may be incomprehensible to other lesser mammals. Darter discretion advised.
It's time for Dart Talk, brought to you by TheDartZone.com. Stay in the zone. TheDartZone.com is an official Cosmo distributor, and Windy City Fabricators, America's premier fabricators of orthotics and prosthetics, and Redwood Darts, America's newest tungsten darts. Stand straight and tall and hit them all. Redwood Darts. And now, here are your hosts, Mystery Mark and Steve P.
Okay, welcome to Dart Talk.
Welcome.
Wednesday. Say hello.
21st of August?
21st.
Yes.
1 month from fall.
Yes, that is
Summer's
true.
going. Dart Talk brought to you by the Dart Zone.
Stay in the zone.
TheDartZone.com is an official Cosmo distributor. Also, many thanks, Windy City Fabricators and Redwood Darts. We're going to have an interesting show today.
Good. It's better than a boring one.
Well, I don't know how I got this idea in my head, but...
Nobody knows.
Yeah, there's really no point in
Nobody's
asking.
trying to figure out.
There's no point in asking. But, for a long time, I've wanted to, kind of cover tournaments in a more general way, insofar as, as players, and as a tournament player who goes to a lot of tournaments, I don't really know what goes on behind the scenes. You don't really have time to, look at this stuff. You show up, you sign up, you go to your board, and, you deal with, whatever issues come up at a tournament.
Everybody has complaints.
No, but I thought it would be nice to, get, somebody who knows something about running tournaments on the show to kind of, educate all of us players as far as, what you have to go through. What does it take to put on a first-class tournament? So now Chat Room Girl's got some experience with this. Yes?
Yes.
You can speak. Just as long as it's into the microphone.
I'm good, because I'm multitasking. Okay. That thing where I'm doing the chat
Not very
room
well.
typing and trying to listen and follow through, and
All right. Yeah, she does have some experience. All right. So yes.
Well, she's
I
got
do.
some.
she can chime in eventually.
Yeah.
I've actually have over 10 years of experience of putting on a tournament.
Right, and then we also have a special surprise guest. We have Paula Bushy, who's the I believe now the acting tournament
So
director.
it's no longer a surprise, by the way.
Well, not it's obviously
Cat's out of the bag.
Well, yeah, because we want to. I want to talk to her. She runs basically as far as the Diddle Tour goes, my favorite tournament, which is Virginia Beach.
Mm-hmm.
And I've been there now, I think 3 or 4 years in a row, and in a lot of ways, I always found it, to be exemplary. And so I want to talk to Paula about kind of what it takes to put a tournament on. One of the things I like about Virginia Beach is they're not afraid to change things. Right, some tournaments. I mean, literally, it's like they change the date on the flyer, and they're all set for next year. Some of the tournaments I've seen. I won't mention the one that I'm really thinking of, but Virginia Beach doesn't do that. Virginia Beach, every year they try to improve, the tournament experience for all the players, and sometimes when you try something, it doesn't work, so you pitch it, and then you try something else. So let's get Paula on the show, and we can start at the very beginning. Paula, are you with us? I hope she's with us.
Steve.
There she is.
Excuse me. I'm here.
Okay. Say hi to Mystery Mark and Chat Room Girl.
Hey, Mystery Mark. Hey, Chat Room Girl.
Hey, Paul.
Hey, Paula.
And, before we start, let's run our little disclaimer. It only takes
please do.
28 seconds.
The views, opinions, rants, and rampages expressed on Dart Talk do not necessarily reflect individually or collectively those of our sponsors, co-sponsors, wannabe hosts, hearing-impaired critics, or those with a penchant for attitudinal dysfunction. We at Dart Talk strive to provide you, the listener, with an educational, entertaining, and fun-filled experience each and every week. If after the show you, the listener, find yourself feeling uneducated, unentertained, and or bored, We at Dart Talk consider that your own problem.
Okay, so hopefully no one's having a problem.
Paula, you're now covered. You can speak your mind.
Well, thank you so much, guys, and thanks for having me on.
It's good to talk to you. Let's start from the very beginning. Now, as I understand it, and
When she
correct
was
me,
born or what?
Well, correct me.
It's a cold day in March.
I won't say correct me if I'm wrong. I'll just say correct me when I'm wrong.
Okay.
You were the tournament director last year, and you're going to be the tournament director again this year for the Virginia Beach Classic.
Yes, that's correct.
Okay, and do we have dates for that next year?
It's again the same weekend, the last weekend in March. I want to say the 27th through the 30th.
Okay, but the last weekend in March, so I can circle my calendar.
Mark
Yes.
it down.
Okay. No, I love going to Virginia Beach. Jill likes going too. We drive. I've flown there once, but it's a pretty drive. It just takes a long time.
I was say this past year you had a lot of fun getting back, didn't you?
You had all the weather coming back.
Yeah, well, you know what? Last year we did something different, and we took the southern route along and went through Virginia and eastern Kentucky, which I'd never seen, and West Virginia and stuff. But yeah, we had snow, and there was a chicken involved. I remember it.
That's right. That's at the gas station.
Yeah, yeah.
Yes.
I
Yeah.
do remember that story.
Yeah, so it's fun. One of the things that I like about tournaments, and I'll take some personal time here, is it goes back to when I was in school. I read a book called Zen and the Art of Motorcycle Maintenance, which is a very long book that everyone should probably avoid. But the one thing that I always remembered is the authors made a distinction between traveling and being a tourist. And when you go to these dart tournaments and all you see is the parking lot of the hotel, you're a tourist. But if I can drive to a tournament and see something I've never seen before, or stop somewhere along the way, stuff like that, then I feel more like I'm traveling, and it makes it a little more, for me, it makes it a little more worthwhile,
Makes sense.
right? So like for Darts Live, I'm going to play the Darts Live in Vegas next month, actually like a month from yesterday, I think. And I think part of it was to save money is I am going to go to I'm going to fly to L.A., and spend a couple of days in L.A. and then drive from L.A. to Vegas. I haven't been back to L.A. since '93, so I'm kind of looking forward to that. See,
Was it like a 3-hour drive then to Vegas or something?
That depends. If you do
Depends on
95 through the desert, which is what I always used to do.
Right.
So, yeah. L.A. traffic, I mean, Lord knows. Anyway, sorry about that, Paula. Let's get back to you. So, tell us what goes on, like, say, after you've slept for 24 hours when a tournament is over. What's kind of the first thing that you guys do when you get together and talk about a tournament that's just been completed?
Well, the first thing we do is we have the after meeting with the hotel itself. This way we can get any issues taken care of and renegotiate for next year. Unfortunately, this year we did have some issues with the water and room cleanliness and things like that. So we were able to renegotiate our contract for 2014, and the rooms have actually gone down. They're only 79 and 89 this year as opposed to 99 and 109. So that's the first thing we do.
Okay, so that's like $20 less than last year.
Mm-hmm.
All right, I'm pretty sure that's going to be a popular thing. If I remember correctly, there was like a sewer main broke or something, so everything north of 22nd Street lost their water on like Monday morning or something.
Right, yes. There on Laskin Road, there was a huge water main break, and it wasn't fixed for about a week, so I felt bad for the people that actually live down there.
Well, it was it was bad for me too because I had a detour on the way to Starbucks.
Oh, I'm sorry.
Well, I
forbid.
hope that's fixed for next year.
Did they
Oh, my
use clean
goodness.
water in your coffee?
So when you sit down with the hotel and when you oh dear, it's going to be one of those shows.
Oh, yeah.
It's going to be one of those nights.
So when you sit down with the hotel after a tournament, can you give us an example of some of the issues? You mentioned the water and stuff. What are some of the other issues that you go over with the hotel?
We go through issues if there were any with security or any damage, and We go over the food a lot in case there were any issues with the food. And we just both get together to make sure that the next year is going to be even more successful than this year. And that's why we were able to renegotiate those numbers, which helped out a lot. We will meet with the hotel probably 3 to 4 times before the next tournament, going over different things, like if there's a new drink that everybody's drinking, like last year they got Fireball in because of that, or if there's specific foods that are in this year that weren't in last year, things like that. Anything to tweak it just to make the tournament better.
Do you have an option for a different venue if your negotiations aren't going correctly?
Actually, we have people coming to us now looking to get us to move. So we do have some play with that, which is really good.
See, it's been my contention that I can't imagine, especially in a place like Virginia Beach where there's so many hotels, that people aren't like bending over backwards to accommodate the tournament. But I guess that isn't always the case.
It's definitely not the case because people don't understand dart tournaments. Everyone thinks they have to get all these rooms filled, and it's got to be the rooms. It's got to be the rooms. Once we get into a hotel, they don't want to let us go. And that's because then they see the food and beverage numbers.
Exactly. And that's funny that you say that. Up front, when you're putting on an event like a dart tournament, people, not everybody knows that darts, actually, there are tournaments. People see play bars and so forth, but people don't understand that it's a huge event. But once the hotel sees the numbers, the people that come to stay, the food, the beverage numbers, they want you to come back the next year because you just made them a boatload of money.
Yeah,
especially when our tournament is, because Virginia Beach in March, not much going on. So they love it when we bring everybody in.
Yeah, I'm kind of curious, from the standpoint of tournament economics. We were having a fist fight before the show while you were, I'm not sure what you were doing. And we were kind of arguing because it's my contention that because the darters are the total source of revenue, successful tournaments must find a way to, keep more of the darters' money in with the darters, whether it's going into prize money or room discounts or, food and beverage discounts, something like that. It sounds like you were able to do that this year.
Yes, and that's going to be a big help, I think, to last year because our room numbers have gone down in the past couple years, and that's what we're looking to fix this year with that. And they've gotten a new housekeeping staff because I found out after the tournament that their new housekeeping guy had walked out the Friday before the tournament. But that's why working with the hotel is so important. Working hand in hand with them to make sure everything goes smoothly. Because the better they make us happy, the happier we're going to make them.
We were kind of, I don't know if you want to call it brainstorming or something like that.
Yeah, I would say that.
Let me run a couple of things by you, and you could tell me why they are or are not doable. One thing that occurred to me is... I'm not real. There's a couple of tournaments I've been to, not Virginia Beach, actually. I like the food at Virginia Beach, but some of the places we go, you're stuck in a dart hall for 10, 12 hours, and there's really nothing decent to eat. Did you guys ever, or have you ever been to a tournament where they hired an outside caterer to, bring in the food for the tournament, or is that something that really isn't doable or discouraged by the hotel?
Well, the hotel doesn't even allow us to order food into the control desk. So at least this hotel doesn't. And a lot of them won't because they do have such an extensive food and beverage area there. I think if you went to another type of establishment, maybe it would have to be a smaller tournament like a Moose Lodge or things like that, you'd be able to bring food in. But I think if you're at a hotel, I don't think that's even an option.
Okay, how about if you said that you would just, take care of all the beverages yourself? Is that ever something that's doable?
there's no way they would do it because that's where they make the most money.
Well, yeah, that's why I want it.
I get
Right,
it.
of course.
I
You know,
understand completely.
I mean, have you guys ever sat down and tried to figure out because it seems to me that if you had a large percentage of the bar, you could practically double the prize money
oh God, yes.
Easily.
easily. So how
Well,
come
if
we
the-
can't do
if
that?
If they won't allow it though, do you at least get to negotiate the price of the
The drink
beverages?
prices,
Yeah.
yes, we do negotiate those every year as well.
Okay, I mean, I don't know how things work in Virginia, but and I'm not like a wedding planner or anything, but is there any conceivable way that you could host a tournament where you had the bar?
If I won the lottery and found a venue that I could buy big enough, yes, I could do that.
Exactly.
So literally, you would have to own the venue.
Pretty much.
I don't know how often you listen to the show. I'm just assuming every single week.
Every week.
But I did talk to a guy in Michigan. I don't know when, a month ago or two, and he was telling me that in Michigan you could get a 1-day liquor license for $20, and actually provide your own liquor at something. I mean, I assume the venue would discourage that, but it seems to me if you were willing to pay for the banquet hall as opposed to, getting it free for your, making your minimums or what have you, and instead got your own bar, that financially you'd end up ahead.
You probably would, but like I said, in Virginia, if you're in a venue like a hotel, even when you were going back to talking about wedding planning, even the banquet halls where you can have weddings and stuff. My wedding, and this was almost 20 years ago now, was the last wedding they allowed to bring alcohol into the venue that we had.
You ruined it for
because
everyone?
They
Yeah.
realized how much money they lost. So
Well, we were brainstorming, and basically, I don't really know anything about putting on a tournament. That's why you guys are here. But it just seems to me that because the dart players are the primary source of revenue, that we should try to keep as much of it as we can. So I was just kind of curious about that. We can move on. So
We should take a break first. and
Oh,
come
should we
back
take a
with that,
break?
yeah.
Okay, hang with us, Paula. We're going to take our first break. It won't take long. You're listening to Dart Talk with Steve Penuncial and Mystery Mark, Chatroom Girl, and Paula Bushy, and we'll be right back.
You are now and forevermore warned that you consume this show at your own risk, and that Dart Talk cannot be brought to justice in any court or by any government, including and not restricted to the Grand Spaghetti Monster of the Triple 20.
Okay, back for the second quarter, brought to you by the Dart Zone.
Stay in the zone.
TheDartZone.com is an official Cosmo distributor. Also, many thanks, Windy City Fabricators and Redwood Darts. Don't know if we got that beginning of the
Has
show.
anybody
or
told
not.
us what the Grand Spaghetti Monster of the Triple 20 is?
We can check on that if you want to know.
They told us that last week, didn't they?
Did they?
No, I thought we asked it last week. I don't know. I never got
I
an
believe
answer.
that was unanswered.
Oh.
So maybe you can get the chat room to.
I don't know if
get
we ever
on
got
that.
an answer. That's why I was asking.
Oh.
You got anything from
All
the
right.
chat room so far?
Actually, I do. I have a shout out for
Okay.
the Virginia tournament. Jeff Dodson, bravo to Virginia Beach for the Cricket Pro qualifiers and events last year, and the addition of the women's event next year for pro cricket.
Yeah, that was something that we were about to get to. So thank you, Jeff, for that. Anticipating our subject matter.
Awesome segue.
Yeah, isn't that great? We have the smartest chat room in the business.
Yes.
One of the things, and I don't know if I said this earlier, that I like about Virginia Beach is you guys are willing to try to innovate and you're willing to try to do different things. And if they don't work, you move on. The first thing that I thought made the tournament really remarkable, and regular listeners of the show know that I harp on this all the time about longer formats and no diddling, is the long format cricket. I like seating too. The long format cricket you guys run on Friday with the qualifiers. Now I understand you're going to add a women's event on Fridays next year.
That's what we're looking to do. Yes, we'd love to try out women's pro cricket shoot as well. We currently had the women's pro 301 that Chris Bender started, and he was tournament director for 15, 16 years, I believe. And he basically taught me everything I know. But with him, we've always tried to do stuff different. And I thought it's the ladies' turn too. So that's why we're looking at doing the ladies' pro cricket shoot this year.
Yeah, off the top of my head, I would think that you have plenty of boards to do it.
They get a high turnout of women at this compared to other tournaments?
One of the highest turnouts I've ever seen. I mean, they usually get over, correct me when I'm wrong here, over 100 women at this tournament.
Wow.
Last year it was down a little bit. I think our top event was the 301 or the 501, and that was 88.
88.
But we're
so
looking to get a lot more out.
Which is huge, though. Normally, you're looking at 45 or
well,
something?
it's a big tournament. It's
Yeah.
the biggest. It's the biggest tournament on the Diddle Tour. It's like almost last year. If you count Friday, it was almost 40,000.
Yeah, it was 37,095, I believe, and it's going to be a little higher again this year.
A little higher again. Okay, so how does that work when you guys are doing the numbers and stuff like that? How do you determine, like, are you kind of, if you made money, you carry it over to the next year, or you're anticipating you're going to get more players? How do you guys actually, work out the numbers for that?
Well, we look at how well we did this year, and we really don't make any money. Our tournament benefits local charities. This year it was the Virginia Lupus Foundation and the Virginia Area 2 Special Olympics. So that's where the majority of the money goes, except for the administrative costs and things like that. But if we see that we did well and we're able to give a lot to our charities, then we'll up the payout the next year.
Okay, do you know off the top of your head how much you gave last year from last year's tournament?
Last year's tournament, I'm not completely sure. I want to say probably anywhere between 3,000 and 4,000 between
Nice.
the two.
And that's not just coming from entry fees. That's also you guys are doing like side raffles and stuff like that, right?
Right, 50/50s, raffles, sponsorships. This year we'll be doing a program again. We're looking to get some more sponsors so we can, help out our charities as much, if not more than this year, as well as do more for the tournament itself.
Okay, and then it seems to me that you're the tournament that runs the most youth events of any tournament I've ever seen. You pretty much have those kids playing all weekend.
Yes, with the exception of the youth adult, which is the one thing that they do with the adults. We have youth events starting at 8 o'clock on Saturday. I think the last one starts at 4 on Saturday, and then Sunday it goes all day as well.
It's a little intimidating. They you haven't been to Virginia Beach, but
I have not.
they have like a dedicated room for the Utes, and you walk in there and you see all these little
Is it
short
like
people.
sitting at the children's table at Thanksgiving?
It's like watching the Japanese little leaguers. I mean, these kids are pretty good, and they're pretty intense, and they're pretty focused. And I walked in there by accident the first time, and I was actually intimidated. I'm like, look at all these little kids throwing darts. I'm out of here. We're the adults. It was because I'm afraid I'm going to be a bad example or something.
Okay.
I mean, I don't
Well-
want to mess anybody up. So.
Well, our youth start out at 6 years old and they go up to 17. So
Up to 17. One of the things we're harping on is to get the youth age up to 21. The theory on this is basically that once you hit 18, well, at least some places, I don't know what the law is in Virginia, you
Right.
can't get
Most
into
places you
a
can't go.
tavern until you're 21, and that's where most of the league action happens. So the youths in America are kind of lost for 3 years. What do you think of that?
well, down here in Virginia, we have 15 and 16-year-olds that play in our league. As long as it's okay with the bars that they play out of, then it's okay with the league. We make sure that we check with all the bars first. But the majority of our bars down here, they aren't just bars. They have to be bar restaurants. So that helps us being able to bring our kids up from an earlier age.
That would happen here too if you asked. I mean,
Well, there's some places don't have the restaurant part, like
Right.
Will's
As
does,
long as
but
you're-
Mullins does.
well, Will's
so.
does now. So
Oh,
I mean,
right. That's
you know,
right.
as long as you're a restaurant, but the problem is then it depends on whether they can only be there till the restaurant closes 10, 11 o'clock, and then what happens if the match goes till midnight?
Yeah, I mean, I don't know if that's the kind of environment, you want to bring kids into
Right.
unsupervised. I mean, they're there to play darts, but, some people are there to have a rockin' good time.
Yeah.
And maybe that's good that kids see that early so they know what to avoid. I mean, I don't know. I don't have kids. It's kind of a
No.
strange question. What
Could be
were-
good, could be bad. They might be annoyed or they might like it. You never know. But
So let's get back to Virginia Beach now. Your Cricket Pro Singles has been, as I take it, it must be a success because this is going to be the third or fourth year that you've had it.
Yes,
And
I
then
think it's the fourth.
okay, for the listeners, that download the audio off iTunes or Stitcher.com or TuneIn.com. Why don't you explain kind of how the Pro Cricket Singles works for the men and assuming for the women as well.
Right. For the difference between the men and the women this year is basically going to be the number of people. For the men, it's a 64 bracket. The top 30 men ranked through NAPTA at a certain cutoff date. Last year it was October 31st. I think we might move it back a little bit, probably to the end of November. And for the ladies, it'll be the top 15 get seeded directly into the pro shoot. Then for the men, the 31st and 32nd spots go to the highest points players in TADA. So we do give our locals some props there, and it'll be the top top woman will be seeded as well.
And TADA is Tidewater Area Dart Association?
Yes.
Okay. You guys got a website?
Yes, we do. It's tidewaterdarts.com.
Tidewaterdarts.com. Okay, sorry about that.
That's okay. I don't mind shameless plugs. It works great for me.
I was trying to put it in there subtly, but now you exposed it, so
I don't think it was shameless.
Well, no, shameless plugs are okay. We
Yeah.
encourage that. We
Yeah.
just try not to. Some people might not know it's a shameless plug.
There
So,
you go.
okay.
Well, they do now.
Until we admit
Yeah,
it.
now they do.
Yeah, now they
we're
know.
busted.
Yeah.
We're busted now.
Right. Well, for the other 32 spots for the men, 16 for the women, we will hold qualifiers on Thursdays.
On
For the
Thursday.
men, we'll have 4. For the ladies, we'll have 2. The top 8 from each qualifier will move up into the pro shoot on Friday.
Right. And then that gives you your Friday bracket of 64. Have you considered dropping NAPTA as your the list that you seed by and using the North American Championship Tour instead?
I'll be honest with you, I haven't looked into that. The main reason we first went with ADO.
Right, which is useless. No, because none of the because
I'm
none of the
not gonna say
Canadians.
that, but the
Well, no, none of the
problem- what
Canadians
happened-
were on it.
I can,
Right.
What happened on the
Right.
first year is all the Canadians that don't get ADO points
Right. They all
who
had
should
to
have been
qualify,
seeded
and one of them ended up winning.
had to qualify.
Yeah, so I mean, it's silly to not have the Canadians. That's why it wasn't a dig at the ADO. I mean, from
No,
a
I know, I
practical
know.
standpoint,
Yeah.
the ADO points ranking list is useless
Right.
when you're dealing with North America,
Exactly.
right? So then you, I'm sorry, Paula, then you went to NAPTA,
Right.
right, which is
And
now
that was-
becoming useless.
It's becoming. It's not completely
Well, no,
useless
because
yet,
they're
but-
picking and choosing which tournaments count and which tournaments don't.
Right.
And that was the other problem with the ADO points list, is that, I played that tournament and won, but it doesn't count. And he played a tournament I didn't go to, and that didn't count. Now he's seeded and I'm not, and what's going on? Those are the kind of issues you get. We could talk about this offline, Paula, but, the rankings list is again, it's kind of, it may be time to change that. Because didn't you use the Ben Pro rankings as well the first year or something?
Yes, we did.
Right, and those don't even exist anymore.
Of course, you never really
Right.
let her finish the answer.
Sorry, go ahead.
So
Paula.
she started with the ADO, and then they went to the NAPTA, but she hasn't. You haven't looked into.
Paula, please continue.
Okay, guys, no fighting.
Well,
Although it would be
they
bad
like,
to see the fist fight that I missed earlier.
well,
Oh my
they like
gosh, it's so
picking
much-
on me, and I don't know why.
I wasn't picking on you. I just wanted her to finish the question that you asked her.
Right.
That
so
was
go
it.
ahead, Paula. I forgot where you
But
left
no,
off.
I
but-
have not. We have not considered the North American Championship Tour points yet. I haven't really looked into that as much, so it'll be something I'll need to look into.
Well, we could talk again. We can, I can give you some input offline. I mean, I don't really. I like the idea of seeding. I think it's a great idea. How's the response been with the players you've talked to?
Everyone does like the seating. Last year we had some issues because there were a lot of Canadians that were seated that did not get to come because their provisionals were the same weekend.
Okay.
And we'd really like to see, we'd like to see a lot more come out because we are trying to make this not only a North American event, but we'd love to see people from overseas come over too.
Okay, now last year, and again, correct me if I'm wrong. We're going to have to take a quick break, but when we come back, I want to ask you about sanctioning. I believe last year it was not WDF sanctioned for the first time in a couple of years. So let's get back to that. We'll be back in a minute. You're listening to Dart Talk with Mark, Steve, Chat Room Girl, and Paula Bushy from Virginia Beach, and we'll be right back.
like a
right?
personal problem, Steve.
Steve, you are recording
Dart
the show,
Talk
right?
agrees to adhere to the Geneva Convention in treating fairly its prisoners in their war against lackluster darting administration and behaviour.
Okay, back for the second half, brought to you by the Dart Zone.
Stay in the zone.
TheDartZone.com is an official Cosmo distributor. Also, many thanks, Redwood Darts and Windy City Fabricators.
Yes, that is it. That is
know,
correct.
And Fruit of the Loom as well.
And Fruit
Fruit of the Loom.
Yeah.
We have a new sponsor.
The chat room's having a good time.
Oh, my
you know,
gosh.
it's funny, the green doesn't show
It
up.
looks exactly the same.
the
Does
same.
it not look exactly
Oh,
the
my
same?
gosh, there goes a sight gag gone wrong.
Yeah, it
Oh,
didn't
that
work.
Stinks. Oh, well,
Well,
okay,
but
we'll
it-
just have to let the chat room
oh,
have some fun with
yeah.
it. You
It's
got
a
anything,
completely different color.
Yeah, I got the spaghetti. This
Oh,
spaghetti
do we have an answer
monster.
on the
Oh,
spaghetti
sweet.
monster? Okay,
Are you
what
ready
I
for
wanna
this?
know.
let's have it.
Oh, my phone's ringing. That's supposed
Okay,
to be off.
let's focus now.
I'm focusing. Okay. So we asked what the spaghetti monster was all about, and our first comment back was it's the triple 20, and horsehair equals spaghetti.
Okay,
So that started a whole uproar about it's not made out of horsehair.
it's sisal.
Okay, but actually, as I went and Googled, since I did my job, dartboards used to be made out of boar's hair and horsehair.
Right.
Okay, but now they're made out of sisal.
Yeah.
But that's why they call it spaghetti, is because horsehair looks
like spaghetti.
Spaghetti.
Really thin angel hair
That's
spaghetti.
what? So
but
just by hitting the triple 20, they call it spaghetti?
The monster.
the grand spaghetti monster.
The Grand
'Cause it's-
Spaghetti
'cause
Monster
it's
is
like
the ton
calling
80.
it's like calling
the
double
biggest number,
one
yeah.
Madhouse.
Yeah,
It's
the-
just a nickname for a segment on the board.
Yeah. So,
No,
so
I got
see,
that part.
actually,
Okay.
So actually, Phil.
Well, I
and
didn't get
Sparth
that, but I
both
didn't
were
even know you
correct.
called Double One Madhouse. I called it a pain in the ass.
Well, that's your
I
fault.
like your thinking, Mark.
Hey,
Yeah.
wait a minute. What is the end of our disclaimer?
What is the end of our disclaimer?
Yeah.
The grand
You can deal
spaghetti
with
monster
it.
of the
You can
triple
deal
20.
with it.
Or, yeah.
Yeah. Deal with it.
Okay, yeah, I don't know what
Yeah.
you're talking about anymore.
It's not our
But
problem.
Okay,
Yeah,
thank
it's
you.
not our
That's
problem.
not our problem.
Thanks for the clarification on the grand spaghetti
Yeah.
monster. Does anybody remember what we? Oh, sanctioning. Let's talk a little sanctioning, Paula.
Hey, nice
Um,
green shirt now, Mark.
Thanks. Can you tell?
No, actually, it's hard to tell, but my chat room is going to be so excited though
You know,
that you.
anyway.
Yeah.
Well,
if
find
they
out if
notice.
the chat room could tell that I changed shirts, but so they, or tell them I changed underwear, so Steve and I are not wearing the same.
Let's go
One
back
of the
to
two.
Paula. Paula, what you got to say for us?
Okay.
Sanctioning. Back to sanctioning. Can we go back to sanctioning, please?
Yeah,
Yes,
let's.
we're back to sanctioning.
As
And I
I
am happy to say that we will be BDO sanctioned this year.
okay, is there any way I could talk you out of it?
Oh, jeez.
No, seriously.
What is the reasoning?
Well, my reasoning. Well, I don't know if we have time for that. Have you ever considered just not sanctioning it at all, and saving whatever couple of grand you get, and like just putting in the women's purse or something like that? I mean, do you see a value from the sanctioning money that you spend?
Well, the good thing about BDO is we don't pay a dime to get sanctioned.
Well, yeah, and that and a cup of coffee will get you a cup of coffee.
Right.
I mean, I'm not real happy with the BDO.
Okay.
But we don't really have to go into that. I think everybody kind of knows where I stand on that. But from a tournament director's standpoint, what I'm curious about is whether you see value in the money that you spend sanctioning your tournament, and whether that money could be better spent elsewhere.
Well, like I said, with the BDO, it's a no-brainer because it is, we don't have to pay anything in order to be sanctioned. So that helps out a lot.
Not to be too contentious, but I mean, if Muammar Gaddafi wanted to sanction your tournament for free, you wouldn't do it, would you?
No.
Okay. That's kind of my point. So what about
the main reason why I was doing that was just wrong. But anyway,
I'm
one of the
ignoring.
main reasons for the BDO sanctioning is a lot of people are trying to get to Lakeside. So at least it gives them more of an opportunity to do that. The biggest thing is just trying to get darts to grow. And by that sanctioning, if it helps somebody get closer to Lakeside, I don't have a problem doing that.
Yeah, see the problem with this is that the BDO has sort of started a war in America where they're saying that if you want to try to get to Lakeside, you have to skip all the North American Championship Tour tournaments. So you go to 3 or 4 or 5 of the BDO tournaments to try to get the one Lakeside spot, but then you have to give up playing in, 10 or 12 other events that pay more than Lakeside does. So they're doing a disservice to the American darters, and for the life of me, I can't attribute their motivation to anything except, let's try to screw up darts in America, which, I'm not going to back that at all. So I actually talked to one tournament director and said, why don't you just, tell the BDO no thanks? Long silence there.
Yeah,
Well, no,
she's
it's just,
I
contemplating.
the one
understand.
thing you do have to remember is this year I was acting and now I am a full-fledged tournament director.
Okay,
So there's a lot of things that I try to take into consideration.
sure.
Just like how I put the polls out there for the ladies pro, and I put the poll out there, looking at the pros and cons between mixed doubles and mixed triples.
And I think my suggestion was mixed draw.
Yeah,
Well, is
yours
there-
was a mixed draw.
Is there a con to just saying no to the BDO? I mean, is it
Well, that's what I was going to get
That's-
to, Paula. I mean, let's for the sake of argument, just humor me for a second. If you decided that Virginia Beach Classic next year would have no sanctioning from either the ADO or the WDF or the BDO, how much do you think that would hurt your attendance?
I don't really know.
Okay, you care to
do you have a guess?
have a guess? I mean,
Because our
if
tournament has never not been ADO sanctioned,
okay.
so
Well, at one point you never
I mean,
had a
'cause
pro
there still
cricket
are
singles.
people chasing points.
I mean, the prize
There
money.
are,
The prize money is still going to be the same.
Well,
and
that's kind of my contention. That's kind of what I'm thinking, especially for Virginia Beach, is that I don't think it's going to enhance your tournament to be sanctioned by Muammar Gaddafi, right?
Right.
I don't know that how many people are going to avoid it because of that, but by the same token, I know that WDF ranking points meant a lot to Canadians a
Right.
couple of years ago, and that Canadians were chasing WDF points. Me, I'm not a points chaser, so I don't really, keep that close track of it. But it seems to me there might be, a better way, to go about the sanctioning. I just wondered if you guys had considered that at all. Another long silence.
Yeah.
We can't have the
Sorry,
dead
I
air.
did the one thing that you
I'm
told
springing
me
this
not
on
to
you.
do.
I know.
I was
Hey,
reading
you-
the chat room while you were talking.
See, I
see?
warned
You can't do
about
that.
the chat room is
Well,
like
that's
some mental black hole that you
is not.
cannot escape from
See?
So
easily.
that's why the long silence
Right.
was
Yeah,
there.
she had to get into the chat room.
Did you even listen to the question?
You know,
Part of it.
Part of it.
I'll
right.
be honest with you, I kind of went tone deaf.
I don't think she likes the subject matter. Maybe.
If I don't mean to ambush you with this, Paul, and I'm not
Oh,
trying to
no.
put you on the spot. I mean, from an academic standpoint, when you're putting together a tournament, how much thought do you give that? You said that you've always been ADO sanctioned. I mean, can you think of a good reason to be ADO sanctioned, aside from the fact that you've always done it?
Well, we were one of the actual first members of the ADO, so we've got a long tradition with them. And yes, there may be some things that need to be fixed, but as of right now, I mean, with the exception of NAPTA and things like that, there's really not many dart organizations that at least try. They might not always do a great job, but at least they try to help darters.
Okay. How?
Is that politically correct enough for you?
I am not. I'm not.
You don't
trying
have to be politically correct.
Yeah, I mean, I talk about this stuff as honestly as I can, Paula, and I don't go back far enough to have as much respect for tradition as some people do. I mean, I don't have any allegiance to I don't go back to the BDO 20 years. I don't go back to the glory days. I look at what's happened in American darts since I've started playing 12 years ago, right? I look at the PDC as being a good thing. They brought all this money into America. They put on all these events, and I think they're wonderful. And, the BDO's done nothing except now try to undercut efforts of, to grow the sport in America. So I see them as evil. Right? It's maybe a very simple way to look at it, maybe very simplistic, but okay, somebody's dinging me.
Cake's done.
I'm dinging in.
Ding in.
I want to jump in here because I do have a lot of years of experience of putting on tournaments as well.
Okay.
And no matter what you do, you cannot make everybody happy. And so it's very hard to weigh out the options between, am I doing the right thing with going ADO? Am I doing the right thing going BDO? Am I doing the right thing? Because no matter what you do, there's always going to be.
Yeah, but that was the question, though. I mean, really, if you only lose 5% because people are chasing BDO points, then
Right.
does it really matter? I mean, she doesn't know.
Well, I just wonder.
She doesn't know the answer yet.
Yeah,
The question
yeah, I
is,
mean,
do
I
you really think
wonder-
you're going to lose a lot of participation?
I think.
if you're not sanctioned.
Yeah.
If she doesn't know the answer, but if
Well,
but if you lose 5%, then is there really that big of a harm?
I wonder, academically, just looking at this, Paula, you have locals that play your tournament. And I would think the vast majority of players that show up at Virginia Beach live within, say, 3 or 4 hours of there. I'm just guessing. I have no idea, what your actual demographics are. But we were talking, was it last week or the week before? And I was like, look, if 5 ADO points chasers don't show up, and they're the top 5 on the ADO list, wouldn't that encourage more locals to show up because there's like 5 less traveling guys that they have to worry about?
How are they going to know?
I mean, I wonder if the numbers would be even better if it wasn't
Maybe,
ADO
but how are they
sanctioned.
going to know?
Well, they would have
It
to
would take
do
a couple years
Well,
to figure
yeah.
out, but
But, my contention, and this is not a criticism on you, Paula. I love your tournament, and I have no problem with, if I was running a tournament, I would seriously consider whether it's worth having it ADO sanctioned or not. That's all. And I just wonder if anybody – I don't think that tournament directors in general consider it
an option,
an
yes
option.
or no.
I think they're
Right.
just like, well, okay, we have to be sanctioned, and so, here's
Right.
your, whatever it is to sanction it.
I have a question from the chat room.
Okay?
Virginia Beach Classic, it says perhaps Virginia Beach Classic can lead the way next year with live streaming on selected matches.
Yeah, that is
are
on
you
my
looking?
list.
Are
That's
you
on my list
looking-
of questions.
Yeah, are you
Well,
looking for that?
I think
And-
we talked. I don't know if I talked to you last year, Paula, or I talked to Chris 2 years ago about it. Have you guys thought about like maybe setting up a live stream on the finals board there in the hallway?
Actually, we were looking to do that this year, but it didn't come to fruition. Lou is looking into doing it again for this year.
I mean, if you guys have talked about it, can you share with the listeners some of the issues that are involved with live streaming? Because I think the misconception some people have that it's a relatively simple process.
Well, the biggest part is making sure that the hotel has enough Wi-Fi capability to be able
bandwidth.
to do that.
Right. Upload speed.
And I know a lot of people in their own rooms weren't able to get Wi-Fi. That was one of the big issues this year. So I know they're looking to revamp. They were in the process when I met with them last month of revamping their whole Wi-Fi capabilities in both the rooms and down in the dart hall.
Because as I recall, you had a pretty nice setup for the finals board. Didn't you have a monitor and a camera that was on the board? So you had like a kind of a closed circuit stream
Right.
that was
we were
running
able
on
to
the finals
stream it
board.
there so that you didn't have to sit right on it to be able to watch the finals. But we haven't gotten the capability to do the live streaming last year. We're working on doing that for this year, though.
I thought
Definitely.
I thought that was a big success. Did you notice more people watching the finals than they were the year before because it was kind of easier to see what was going on?
Oh, yeah, definitely.
Yeah. So maybe you can get a bigger screen this year.
What we'd like to do is actually put a screen maybe in another area.
Like maybe in the big hall or something so people could kind of
Right.
sit there and watch too?
Like maybe over between you were at the tournament where Sioshi was set up and Todd was set up.
Oh yeah,
So
kind of
we're
in
on
the
that-
back,
on that
kind of
wall.
in the back. Oh, you got plenty of room there. I think that'd be cool. Then you have more room. You could have like actually 2 separate groups of people. Except
Right.
if you're in the back, they can't hear you yelling Noonan. Right.
This
Noonan,
is true.
miss.
As long as you don't start yelling Baba Booey or mashed potatoes or anything like that from like they do in the golf tournaments.
Right. So where are we now, Paula? You haven't decided on the or do we have to take a break already? Really?
Holy cow.
Okay, we have to take one more break, Paula. Can you stay with us?
I'm still here.
Okay, you're listening to Dart Talk with Mark, Steve, Chatroom Girl, and Paula Bushy from Virginia Beach, Virginia, and we'll be right back. Okay, back for the fourth quarter, brought to you by the Dart Zone.
Stay in the zone.
TheDartZone.com is an official Cosmo distributor. Also, many thanks, Windy City Fabricators and Redwood Darts. This is the first time we've had a fist fight during the commercial break.
A little bit, yeah.
This is getting interesting.
And we actually had someone listening to our fist fight, which is even better.
All right, what'd you think of that, Paula? Entertaining.
Oh,
right?
I loved it. I thought I participated a little bit, so at least
I know. I
Wonder
love
if she
it.
recorded it. Next thing you know, it's going to be out on the.
I recorded it. It's just never gonna. Nobody's
That's what I
ever
mean,
gonna
but
hear
she
it.
might. If
Oh,
she
well,
recorded
then.
it, she could send it out. Next thing you know,
Bleep that one word for
yeah.
me. Well, no, you know, we're talking about sanctioning, during the commercial break, and I'm basically saying, look, all the American darters need to be on the same page. My page is let's grow darts in America. Let's give everybody as many opportunities to play as they can. I don't see any reason why I can't go to the 5 or 6 or however many BDO tournaments there are and play my best and see how I end up, and then go play in the North American Championship Tour events, see where I end up, and if by some act of insane
the
God,
dart gods.
I actually qualify for both, then I pick one, and whoever's in second goes
Yeah,
to the other
exactly.
one. What's wrong with that?
I don't see
As
anything wrong
American
with that.
darters, everyone should be behind this, and yet they're not. And I blame some of the people in the ADO for this. Okay, people have an allegiance to the Gaddafi organization. I mean, I think it's time to end that. For the good of American darts. That's kind of where I'm coming from on this. And obviously,
Right.
Paula, this hasn't been like foremost on your mind as you're trying to actually, get the best tournament in America organized for next year.
Keep going, right?
But if you have anything to say on the subject, we'd be happy to hear it, or we could just move on.
My biggest thing, like I said, is I'm in the same boat you are in just trying to improve darts and make it better across the country. Do I know whether sanctioning or not sanctioning is going to help that? No, but I will get into consideration and think long and hard about it.
Yeah, I hope you do think about it, and I'll be happy to discuss any aspect of this subject with you offline. I mean, I have my opinion. Other people
Well,
are
I
gonna,
wonder if
are
there's
gonna
a way to
disagree.
find out.
Well,
How do you find out if you're going to lose?
I'll tell you how you find out is you drop all the sanctioning for Virginia Beach next year, and you see how
And you
many
see
people
how-
show up,
right.
which is a tremendous risk.
That's what my
for
point. I
them.
didn't know
Yeah.
if there's a.
I don't know about a tremendous risk, but it's a risk. I
Yeah.
mean,
I
don't
can't
think
believe you're going to lose 50% of your attendance. I mean,
well, no way. I
Not
mean,
a chance, so.
nobody chases ADO points anymore. There were 3 people that signed, as far as I know, 3 people that signed the BDO waiver, which meant there were only 3 people that were actually chasing the Lakeside thing, and there may be more next year. But the notion that you have to forego all these other events in order to do that, I think, is like deliberately divisive, and we need to put a stop
No,
to
I
it
agree with
somehow.
that.
So I'm thinking, let's get all the tournament directors to say no.
so you want to put Paul on the spot, and she's the first test. All right,
Well, I did sort of like spring this on
she's
her.
the
and-
study.
Yeah, especially
She's
my
the
first
study.
four years.
No
Thanks,
sanctioning
guys.
next year, and you're the first study, and no sanction next year, and we'll see what happens.
Hey,
The-
Paula, welcome to the club.
Well, look.
Yeah, no doubt.
Well, no, look. I mean, everybody knows where I'm coming from.
You are one of the earliest tournaments.
Yeah, well, yeah, it's in end of March. I mean,
Yeah.
there's a lot of early tournaments, but the only thing that I think we could take out of me ambushing Paula with this, which was unintentional, which hopefully everybody believes I'm sincere on that, is the notion somehow that I'm big on thinking outside the box. And this is one way of doing it is sanctioning doing anything for us, and is it worth it? And I personally, I have my opinion on
Right.
this. The same way, you put a poll question, which, by the way, I give you a lot of credit for. I don't see too many tournaments that directly ask the darters their opinion on things. Now, you were taking the pulse of the community, so to speak, when it came to running a mixed doubles or a mixed triples. I, of course, said mixed draw. How did that shake out for you, Paula?
Primarily, it looks like a lot of people would like one of each. I'm trying to make it so that we don't have, 12 or 13 events for the weekend. It makes it hard on you all, as well as it makes it hard on the tournament staff as well.
You guys look awfully tired at 2 a.m.
Actually, that's when I normally wake up. It's first thing in the morning that I'm just done. But That's why I always close and let somebody else open in the morning.
What do you think is going to be the biggest difference between you being assistant director and now you are the tournament director?
Making sure all the pre and post tournament stuff gets done correctly. We still pretty much have the same exact staff that we've had forever. And
a wonderful staff it is, I might add.
And that's what I was going to say. We do have one of the best staffs around, especially considering, it's all volunteers. It's people from TADA as well as we've got folks from Northern Virginia that come down and help. We've got folks from Waynesboro, Virginia that come down and help. And the tournament pretty much runs itself. The biggest things, like I said, are trying to think of new things to do to change up the tournament and make it better, and then getting the post stuff done in a timely manner.
And that's a good thing to bring up. A lot of people think tournament gets put on a couple of weeks beforehand, put it together, here we go, and it's not. It's a year long of getting sponsors, getting a place, getting things set up. I mean, it's a volunteer job, and I don't think a lot of dart players realize that. When they come up and they're complaining if something's gone wrong, it's a lot of hard work that people are volunteering their time to put on a good tournament for people to have a good time at.
Right. Even last year, when Chris unfortunately had to step down in January. Yes, it was 3 months from until the tournament. And it was a little stressful, but it really wasn't that bad because everything was done.
Right. Because it's done
so
in
we
advance.
just, except for running the tournament and making sure everything went smoothly. And this year, everything I thought went fantastic, except for what I named the diddle debacle of 2013. And thank you, Steve, because putting you on the mic saved my butt, and I know that.
Well, anything I can do to help, feel free to ask.
Diddle debacle of 2013.
We don't need to go into that.
I like it.
There was just so as far
I made
as
up my own diddle rules.
right, as far as the upcoming tournament at the last weekend of next March, which sounds far away.
Yeah, but it's really not.
But it's not. I'll bet you for them
It's not. It's right around the corner.
Let me ask you something. I think this is valuable, especially for other tournament directors. We'll have to make sure that they, get a copy of the show. What kind of efforts do you guys make locally as far as marketing, acquiring sponsors, promoting the tournament, stuff like that? Do you guys have an organized way of doing that, or do you kind of go to the same people that sponsor it every year?
Well, we try to get different sponsors every year. We're definitely looking for some extra sponsorship this year, and I've got some things in the works that I can't talk about yet, but hopefully it pans out. Like last year, the first year that Dynasty and L-Style came on board, which was great. And the good thing about it was we were able to give them feedback about the Dynasty boards, and they're working on fixing the bull ring and things like that because of our tournament.
Yeah, I actually like the Dynasty boards. I heard a lot of complaints about them, and I was like, I think these boards are great. They had a typo. I wish they'd get rid of the typo. And you know what? I went to 5 people, and I'm like, do you see the typo on the board? And none of them saw it, and I just wanted to crawl in a hole
Did they
and
not
die.
have a proofreader?
I'm telling you, I'm
going to have to go look at the boards now.
Oh, no, you didn't see it either. Oh, gosh. So you haven't decided yet on the mixed doubles, mixed triples. You guys are still, you're going to, have a meeting on that? How do you guys, go about making a decision like that?
Yeah, we have an executive board of TADA that gets together and looks at the different things to see what we can do. Putting the polls out there is helping out a lot. And, a lot of people are so surprised that I'm the first person that did it. I guess I'm more surprised that I am the first person that did it.
Yeah, me too.
Just because the only way that we're going to make it better is by getting feedback from the players.
I remember telling, I forget who, that, why don't you give, the players a little pen and paper on Sunday when they sign up for the first event and say, hey, can you write down any feedback on the tournament and just slip it in the box? You don't have to write your name down or anything like that. Ask them for their email address to put them on a mailing list so you can update them with stuff next year. All the kind of stuff that everybody takes for granted in normal businesses. Not your tournament. I'm talking about a lot of the other tournaments I see too. Completely, kind of ignore this kind of thing.
We did that. We put a suggestion box up on Sunday, the IDA, when we put on the St. Pat's tournament. And we did that. We put a suggestion box out and asked people to do that. Unfortunately, you don't get the positive suggestions back of things were run well. They like this, they like that. It's always the negative.
The negative. Well, that's valuable
that's
too,
hard.
though.
Yeah, but you can probably weed through some of them
it
that are
is.
just people are
It
throwing in
If
there just
you
for
get 50
show.
responses and 50 people say the hot dogs were no good, I think that
The
you need
hot
to do
dogs
hot
are no
dog
good.
better.
Exactly, but I think if you're going to do that, you need to ask everyone to put something in, not just the negative, but also the positive, so that you continue to work with the positive.
Well, the way you do that is
Right.
you create your own form with little check boxes and then comments at the bottom, and you make them answer certain questions. Were you happy with the hotel? Did you enjoy the tournament?
Exactly.
So you're directing the responses and making them a little more valuable to you.
Exactly.
Right? What do you think of that, Paula?
Well, that's why Facebook is now so valuable. Instead of having to do it right then and there, because people are still, especially on Sunday mornings, people are a little rough. But that's why
You might not want their response on Sunday
Well, no,
morning.
it's all that ocean air that
Yeah.
people
Yeah,
aren't
okay.
used to. Yeah.
And that's why, I went to Elite Darters and Only Pros Allowed and pages like that and put out there, please give me your thoughts. So that it gave people time to think, and they probably were a lot less heated than they would have been on Sunday morning.
Yeah.
But that's how we were able to get the rates down at the hotel, because I gave them a printout of every single complaint we got about the hotel.
So that's where the negative
Yeah.
feedback can work for you.
Exactly.
Right.
Yeah, I like that. Is the flyer out yet for the tournament?
Not yet, because we're still trying to decide what we're going to do
Right.
with, since we know we're dropping the 301 for the ladies pro cricket. We're looking at possibly doing an early bird luck at 6:00 and then the regular luck like we normally have at 8:30. And then we're still looking at which way to go with the mixed event.
So you're talking about the blind draws. You're talking about Friday?
Right.
Okay.
I got a question from the chat room, too.
I didn't
Okay.
hear a ding, so I don't
Let's
think
hear it.
Oh, never mind.
What about computerized sign-ups and TVs to show the brackets around the dart holes?
What about
I'll be honest, I've been to a tournament that has done that. And to me, it actually takes longer for people to see when to go to their boards.
Yes.
Isn't that a higher
and-
cost too?
It scrolls and it scrolls. And
I agree.
And especially at the Virginia Beach tournament, and sometimes we have 4 events going at one time.
and you have what, 80 boards or 70 boards? And
Yeah, we have
they're-
80 boards.
and they're all in use. So you got to go
Yes.
through 80 matches to see where you're going. So yeah, I'm not a big fan of the scrolling. What about? I can't remember now. Can I sign up for everything in advance, or do I have to sign up individually for every event in Virginia Beach?
Now, we do have pre-registration where you can pay for everything in advance. And if you do that, all you have to do is come up and fill out a ticket and turn it in. Now, this year we tried something different when it came with the pre-registrations, and it worked out fantastically, because it used to be with the pre-registrations, they had one list for the entire weekend, and they had to check off every time somebody signed up. This year, each book had its own sheet. If it was ladies, it was just the ladies that were pre-registered.
Okay, and then you just added
we were-
everyone else's name.
Right. And then, but what we were able to do is a lot of people would forget to sign up. They were pre-registered and they're like, oh, did I sign up? Didn't I sign up? So, 10 minutes before the event, we could get on the mic and just say, hey, Nicole Smith, are you playing this event?
That'd be nice.
And-
There's no way I could pre-register and then not have to sign up.
No, because there's a lot of times where people don't show up, and
Well,
we
isn't
don't
that
want
their own
to. We don't want to
fault?
have to do forfeits.
If you
No, I know what you're
pre-register-
saying. No,
I-
I've seen this happen
yeah,
before.
I know what she's saying
The
too.
the thing the one thing I would say for your benefit, and I think Brenda Rausch said this, like we had her on the show like a year and a half ago. She's like, if they don't show up, at least you have their money, right? So
Well, yeah, I mean,
you may end up with more signups per event doing it that way than you do having people standing in line all the time. It can be inconvenient depending on I everybody's gone through it where all of a sudden there's 5 minutes left to sign up and you're about to start a match and you're like, ooh, I have to go sign up, and you leave and come back. I mean, we all do that every now and then. In a perfect world, it would be nice to somehow get around
But
that.
how
I
do
don't
you
know
forget
quite how
that
you
you
do that.
pre-register?
well, but things come up. Just
What-
like
No,
just-
they're not forgetting they're pre-registered. Even though you pre-register, you still have to sign up. So they forget to sign up.
Oh,
That's what she's talking
okay.
about.
right.
Go ahead.
I do have a question. What time
Did you
does
ding?
I'm getting tired of dinging because you guys don't listen to that anymore anyway. So I'll do it again. What
Whole
time does the
system's
tournament start
breaking
on
down.
Friday?
What tournament? Virginia Beach? Oh,
no,
the pro singles
the
or the
Scooby Doo Classic. Yes, Virginia Beach. What time does it start on Friday?
Well, the pro singles starts, I don't know, noon, 11,
All right.
something
The
like
only
that.
reason I'm asking
They don't
is,
have a
is
flyer
my,
yet.
My chat room was asking because I got a big ding, ding, ding.
Get there at 8 in the morning. You'll be there in plenty of time to sign up.
Yeah, it says how about
Sounds good,
throwing
Mark.
in a 301 double in double out at 3 on Fridays, but I didn't know what time your tournament
the,
started. So
the singles wouldn't be over by 3.
yeah,
There's no way they'd be over by 3.
now,
Paula,
more than likely this year we'll have ladies start at either noon or 1, and then the men will start at 2.
yeah, we started at 2 on Friday, didn't we?
Right.
Yeah, okay. Yeah, so that's kind of nice actually, because you can actually fly in Friday morning and
Yeah, they were
still,
pushing
still
you
make
guys
the
to
event.
Yeah.
go in Friday morning.
Does that factor into a lot of your decisions when you're doing the events? Is people traveling and getting to the airport and stuff like that, late night, Sunday night flights, stuff like that. Do you guys consider that much?
We do. That's why we try to. This year we might actually be starting Sunday a little earlier. We've been starting at 11 o'clock. We're looking probably to start at 10 this year for that reason, because we want everybody to get the opportunity to play everything they want to play. And they're not able to do that if, because I'm looking for, I'd love to see a record-setting event this year. I'd like to see more people than we've ever have. So, but with that, we try to keep as close to on time as possible. I've been to some tournaments that are a third of the payouts that we are, and they run 2-3 hours behind.
I've seen it happen.
You really don't see that a lot at Virginia Beach.
No, I always thought that tournament ran very well. I remember the 301 singles on Saturday night ran
that was
late.
a fiasco.
Well, yeah, but that was because people were still playing the mix, so there was like too much
Right, it was
overlap or
mixed
something
trips.
like that. Yeah, the only thing about the starting early on Sundays are tricky because a lot of people are checking out.
Right.
There's nothing more aggravating than checking out on a Sunday morning anyway, but then you got to work in breakfast, packing,
Don't
and a warm up.
most hotels now just have automatic checkout and you drop your key off.
No, but you have to pack your bag, put it in the car, go have breakfast, clean up, and then get down to the dart hall in time
oh
to
my God, you're
warm
complaining.
up.
Whatever.
No, I'm not complaining. I'm
Jesus,
just saying
you
this
get
is
up in the
what-
morning,
right.
you pack your bag at the end of the night, and you leave. How hard is it to leave a hotel? It's really easy. You pack your bag.
This is a guy that
How
hasn't
many
been to a
tournaments?
tournament. He hasn't been
How
to
many
a tournament in
tournaments
a
have
while.
you
traveled?
Yeah, you
I
have.
know how to
you
leave
have.
a hotel.
Well,
but you
have.
haven't been to tournaments, and Steve's right, because you're rushing around in the morning. You got to get everything packed because you don't want to do it while you're in the middle of playing.
It's
You
the
don't-
one
you don't-
thing.
No,
Sundays
it's
are
not
because you
room
guys
to go
are up
back
too late
to.
Saturday night, and then all of a sudden you panic in the morning.
Well,
Well,
no, we don't
I hope
panic. I mean,
not.
I've literally played at 2:15 in the morning at Virginia
Right.
Beach,
Okay.
right? And then, but they started later, so I had time to do everything. Now she's talking about moving the starting time up, and I'm like, ooh.
An hour. Ooh, oh
But
my
that's
God.
an hour. Well, that's an hour of, rushing around and stuff. Like I know
played
guys
in-
in Stamford.
I
that
played
will-
in plenty of softball tournaments where we had to be out of the hotel because we had to play at 8 in the morning. Okay? 8 in the morning, and you're a half-hour drive to the stadium.
no
All right?
sympathy.
And you
We're
guys
not
are
getting
walking
any
down the
sympathy from you.
stairs.
Okay.
I have no
Oh.
sympathy for you.
Yeah, but as my chat room says, since you wear the same hat and the same underwear all weekend, it probably doesn't bother you a whole lot.
No,
Right.
you turn the
Do
underwear
you
inside
sleep
out,
in-
you
do
can
you
wear it
s-
every other
Do you
day.
sleep in that hat?
I
and
mean,
the same shirt that Steve wears. So,
yeah. I mean, no, that's my point. There's ways around it. You got to figure this out for yourself, whatever's comfortable.
Is that anything?
anyway.
Is that anything you consider moving up that Sunday start time, Paula? How late people play on Saturday, stuff like that? Because it sounded to me like you were planning on Saturday ending a lot earlier.
Exactly, and I think that will aid a lot in getting people up early on Sunday morning.
No, it won't. They'll just stay up. They're still going to stay up the same amount of time.
Well,
Okay.
that's on them.
I
That's not on
agree.
us.
I completely agree with that.
I
but
mean, we cannot solve all the
I
problems
know.
of the world in
I know,
one
not in
single
one night.
show.
that's
Not-
my
not-
point. I don't
well,
think it's a problem.
hey,
It's your own
Mark,
damn fault if you can't get
it's-
up by 10 o'clock in the morning.
Hey, Mark, it's the point to be up that late because you want to be in the finals.
I know.
Oh.
Okay. But I just don't understand the concept of it's so hard to be down there by 10.
But you're on day 3.
Paula, I hope you'll come back on the show sometime.
We are a lot of fun.
We can't
do
afford
bicker,
to
though.
we can't afford to pay you, but we can work something out. How long before you think the flyer will come out?
I'll probably have it done by the end of September.
She might be canceling the.
I am
The
not
tournament
canceling
after
the
this
tournament,
interview.
Mark.
Well, you know what? I will if you like.
You all didn't scare me that bad, trust me.
If you like, I'll be happy to, because I have all these graphics programs and Microsoft Word and stuff. I'll be happy to proofread the flyer for you and make sure there's no typos.
There you go.
And make sure the
Oh,
artwork is all up to snuff. I'll be happy to
Trust
do
me,
that
I'm
for
a
you.
common Nazi, so I do that as well. Don't
If-
worry about that.
Feel free to, you know what, just give me the address of the printer and send me the file. I will do a final
Don't do
proofread
it,
for you
Paula.
and then send it to the
Did
printer.
you call
How's
yourself
that
a
sound?
common Nazi?
Yes, I call myself a
You haven't
common
heard that?
Nazi.
No,
You
I
haven't
have not heard
common Nazi?
common Nazi, no.
Well,
English
my
major.
first,
I've
well,
heard
yeah,
of
my
it.
first job out of college actually was legal proofreading.
Right.
Oh, yuck.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. That's why typos just jump out at me like they don't normal people. Paula Bushy, thank you for coming on the show and educating us somewhat and putting up with us. It's been a strange night. Maybe when you have the flyer done and everything's all said and done, you can announce all your changes. Just come on the show. It won't take an hour this time. You could just come on and tell us, kind of what you've decided and stuff like that, and we can visit some more.
Sounds great.
Sound good?
Yeah.
Thanks,
Yep, I
Paula.
had a
Thanks,
blast.
Paula.
You guys got anything else for Paula?
No, thanks.
No, I think we covered
I
it.
do want to be paid in bad hats, though. I like that one.
I know. I love it. I was getting ready to say.
Best chat room in the business. I have some bad hats. I just never wear them. But okay. Thanks, Paula. If you want to mute your mic, we may go on for another few minutes or something, but we'll let you go. And thank you
Oh,
so much
well,
for coming on the show. We do
What's-
appreciate
Hold on.
it.
What's the typo on the dartboard?
You'll have to look at it. Now I'm not saying.
Oh.
You guys will
chat
have to look at the
room.
Whoever
Dynasty,
finds the typo gets something.
Oh, Paula's going to check it.
Yeah.
Paula will tell you.
Yes, I don't have one of the dynasties here with me, but I'll be able to check it once I go to the bar tomorrow.
Okay. Well, then you could post it on Facebook for everybody.
I
Because
will.
it's a silly one. There's actually, when you see it, you'll know what I'm talking about.
Okay.
But anyway, thanks
You
for
have-
coming on,
you
Paula.
have totally busted
Thanks for
Phil's
having me,
day.
guys.
Well, there's actually a typo, and then there's another grammatical issue. We'll call it
All right.
on
well,
the Dynasty boards
I
that
see
I've
people
seen.
running out to the store right now just to look at a dynasty board just to read it.
Well, maybe somebody's got a picture on
Yeah,
their
oh, they
website,
need-
and you
right.
could look at it, and you'll see it. You should see it right away. I mean, it jumped out at me, and everybody was like, "What
Poor
are you
Phil,
talking
you've
about,
just
dude?"
ruined his whole day.
Oh, poor Phil. Phil, you can. Phil, I'll send you a text. I don't want to. Maybe they'll change it, and then we can just sort of like pretend it never happened,
Right.
kind of thing. I don't want to. I like the boards. I don't want to. I'm not, ripping on them or anything like that. But I mean, I just That's
So
my
it's just a
nature. I see
typo.
typos.
That's it. Right.
I thought it was nice of me to offer to proofread their flyer and before
Yeah.
it goes to the printer and make sure the artwork is correct.
You know, we have 4 people that proofread ours before we send it out. The IDA.
well,
It-
I'll
it's
be happy to
because
be.
it's
I will volunteer right now that I will be happy to proofread every tournament flyer that goes out next year, and I guarantee you I will improve them.
Everybody.
course.
send
I
them.
will improve them.
Oh my God.
You know how, right?
Yeah, you're gonna change the money.
No.
Oh.
No, I would never do something like that.
Can't do that.
No, you just delete the part where it says ADO sanction.
Oh, there you go. Right. Yeah.
Oh.
This does not belong.
Seriously, if somebody does a tournament and it's not ADO sanctioned, I would, if I say I'll bet
Venture-
money, somebody
you
will
would venture
Facebook
a
me,
guess.
I'll bet you $3,000.
No, you would venture a guess.
No,
That they're not.
I'm fairly certain that you would either stay the same or increase your
Yeah,
numbers.
It wouldn't change that.
The only people I would say the vast majority of people that go to any ADO sanctioned tournament don't know what the ADO is and don't even know what the sanctioning is and don't care. I mean, you go to 2
I don't see
tournaments
how
a
you'd
year. Do
increase
you
it,
really
though.
care if you have 6 ADO points?
I don't see how you'd
Because
increase it though.
because
You're not going to
the
put on the flyer
assumption-
all of a
well,
sudden
no, the
we're not
assumption
ADO
is, no. The
sanctioned.
assumption is that these ADO points chasers won't be coming.
But do
I'll
those
have a
people
better
even
chance
know
of
it?
winning. I don't know. I mean, it seems to me that you'd get more local participation if you drop the
That's
sanctioning,
what I'm saying. 'Cause
and
the
you have
locals
more
even
money.
know whether
Well,
the top 3 guys are coming or not.
I think word gets out. You'd be surprised. I
Okay.
mean, word travels. I mean,
Yeah.
she's talking about, people asked her specifically, about BDO sanctioning. Well, sure. I mean, if you live in Canada and you're trying to chase lakeside points and you're thinking about next year, you're already, which tournaments am I going to go to?
Right.
And we'll have to end the show on this because we're going long, but that's the one thing that we're going to
We've
have
already
to
gone long.
Well, we're going to have to discuss. We're going to have to discuss in some detail how you prioritize and how you choose which tournaments you go to.
We've
Because-
tried to discuss that before. We just never really have gotten to it.
Oh,
You've brought it
that
up
was a
before.
very soft
Yeah.
ding.
My bell's not.
You
dinging
broke
very-
the bell.
Oh, there it is.
What do you got?
I have a non-Virginia Beach question.
Okay.
Okay. My chat room would like to know any word on the WDF World Cup being streamed, maybe through the NDFC site. It's only 40 days away.
It's only 40 days away. I have not heard of any plans for it to be streamed, and I would assume that if anybody wants answers to that question, because the NDFC did stream their own stuff, so I'm sure that they have the expertise and the know-how. I would drop an email to the WDF. The auspices,
I have a rebuttal that it's going to be streamed, but they aren't telling me where.
Well, yeah, I don't even want to. I don't even know what to say about
Okay.
that. I mean, the problem. I really enjoyed the NDFC stream, except that they didn't know when they were going to be streaming. If all you're going to do is stream the final and you don't know when the final is going to start, how do you tell everybody when to
Right.
watch? And that's something that they're going to have to work out. The only way to really do it is, kind of figure out what time the final's gonna start, add an hour and a half, and say we're gonna do it at 6 o'clock.
Mm-hmm.
And even if they're done at 3:30, then the final's gonna have to wait 2.5 hours. So at least there's a mark that you can hit.
There will be a link on the main page of the NDFC.
Okay, thanks for that. When it gets actually closer to the event, we'll post the link on our Dart Talk Facebook page. By the way, you guys can like us on Facebook. Just look for Dart Talk. You can find the podcasts on iTunes, on Stitcher.com, on TuneIn.com, and you can also, we have a video archive on YouTube. So if you just go to YouTube, search Dart Talk, or just type in all one word, Dart Talk US, we have everything kind of in one place for everybody.
Yep.
If you
And,
subscribe to the YouTube channel, I think you get an email when the video's posted, if you like to look at it that way.
What happened to James Wade?
James Wade got suspended for 4 events for the DRA equivalent of conduct unbecoming. And I don't believe it was a single incident from what I've been able to glean through some sketchy reports. It looks like it was like an accumulated, he did this here, he did that there. Nothing really, really egregious, but when you put it all together, they gave him a timeout.
All right.
And to be honest, I wish we had something like that a little bit more like in America. And we were talking about this. We're going to have to end the show. But, when you have the North American Championship Tour where you have all these events that are connected, you can have a standard of behavior that can be enforced.
Right.
You were talking about how, somebody, was, banned for a year from the IDA, but that same person can go the next month, play some other tournament and have no ramifications. So, down the road when we start talking about, things like, a standard of play and a standard of behavior and, what's a pro, what's not a pro, how should pros be, which, we're going to have this discussion at some point. We could bring that up.
All right.
Got
Sounds
anything
good.
else in the chat room there? Because otherwise we're going to wrap it up.
I think I've covered all my dings.
Okay, we'll be Dart talking to everybody again next
Later,
Wednesday.
yes.
There's probably going to be some schedule changes in September. We'll keep you posted on that. I'm going to have to be traveling. So I
keep
don't
me
know.
posted. Apparently.
Yeah, I'll let you know. What do you got? Nothing?
No.
Okay.
For Chat Room Girl and Mystery Mark, Steve Penuncielman signing off. We'll Dart talk to you next week. Everybody thanks for listening and take care. Safe travels.